Man accidentally dropped his newly purchased watch into the deep sea. While diving into the water to search for it, he unexpectedly discovered a golden dagger buried in the sand, adorned with rubies. It looked like it was worth at least hundreds of thousands of dollars. Leo was thrilled. Could there be treasure nearby? He dived back into the water to search again. This time he found a mysterious stone on the seabed. Drawing on his years of treasure hunting experience, he quickly recognized it as an ancient ballast stone. The presence of the ballast stone indicated that there was likely an ancient shipwreck nearby. When Leo shared the news with his companions on the boat, they couldn't stay calm. They quickly put on professional treasure hunting gear and returned to the spot where the golden dagger was found. They first marked the treasure area, then took out a metal detector and searched inch by inch. Before long, the detector reacted. Leo immediately called his friends over. Using a blower, they cleared away the sand on the seabed. Before long, a rusty cannon appeared before their eyes. The group was ecstatic. They were sure they had struck it rich. They quickly tied a rope to the cannon, inflated a floating bag, and steadied the cannon as it slowly ascended toward the surface. But halfway to the surface, trouble arose. A patrolling security team spotted their boat and prepared to board for an inspection. If they were caught, their dream of getting rich would be shattered. Lisa, who was on the boat, quickly struck up a conversation with the officers to buy time for the divers. However, it seemed like the security team wasn't planning to leave anytime soon. Underwater, Leo signaled his companions to abandon the operation, otherwise the cannon would be discovered. But one of the companions panicked and accidentally released all the air from the floating bag. Even worse, his arm became entangled in the rope, and he was dragged down along with the cannon as it sank back to the seabed. As the cannon pressed his arm firmly to the bottom, Leo tried with all his strength to move it but couldn't. What made matters worse was that their oxygen supply was running dangerously low, as they hadn't anticipated staying underwater for long. Seeing their companion on the verge of suffocation, Anna had a quick idea. She used a nearby floating bag with remaining air to supply oxygen to their trapped companion. Meanwhile, Leo transferred the last bit of oxygen from their tank into the empty floating bag, and then used all his strength to lift the cannon. Finally, they freed their companion. At the same time, the Coast Guard on the boat began to grow suspicious, but the divers managed to return to the ship just in time. Luckily, one of the officers was an old acquaintance of Leo, so they weren't suspected. Although they didn't retrieve the cannon, the discoveries on the seabed left them thrilled. They believed that if they kept diving in the area, they would strike it rich eventually. However, they soon realized that the seabed in this area was far from ordinary.